Hello, Virgo. Someone told him the truth. Not the comfortable version, not the version that leaves everything exactly as it is and asks nothing of anyone. The real one, the kind that only arrives from the mouth of someone who cares enough about the person in front of them to say the thing that is true rather than the thing that is easy. And what that person said in whatever room, in whatever conversation, in whatever quiet or charged or unexpected moment, the truth found its opening, landed in a way that changed something, shifted something that had been fixed in place, moved something that all the internal reasoning in the world had not been able to move. Because that is what the right voice at the right moment can do. What months of private deliberation sometimes cannot accomplish, a single honest conversation from the right person accomplishes in minutes. Not because the information was new, most of what matters in these moments is not new information, but because hearing it from outside in a voice that is not your own, in the specific and undeniable clarity of someone else's perception of your life, it lands differently. It becomes real in a way that the same thought circling endlessly inside your own head somehow never quite managed to become. They were told something about you. And I want to speak carefully about the nature of what was said because I feel it in the energy of this reading with a specificity that I think matters. What was said was not flattery, was not the well-meaning but ultimately hollow reassurance of someone trying to make a friend feel better about a situation. It was an observation, precise, grounded, coming from a place of genuine attention to what this person has been living through and what they have been unable to see clearly because they have been too close to it, too inside it, too tangled in the feelings and the history and the complicated texture of what exists between them and you to achieve the distance that honest seeing requires. The person who spoke, the one who offered the advice, who held up the mirror, who said the thing that needed to be said, saw what this person could not see from the inside, saw the pattern, saw the direction the feelings were actually pointing beneath the surface management of them, saw with the clarity that only genuine care for another person combined with sufficient distance from the situation can produce that you are not simply someone this person has feelings for. You are the one, the specific, located, not interchangeable with anyone else one. And the advice that followed from that observation was not complicated. It was the simplest and most difficult advice available. Stop finding reasons not to. Stop managing the feeling into something smaller than it is. Stop letting the fear of getting it wrong keep you from doing the one thing that has any chance of getting it right. Soft sigh. They heard it. Really heard it, not the way we hear things when we are listening for the pause that allows us to restate our existing position, but the way we hear things when something in us has already been quietly waiting for exactly this permission and receives the words like water into dry ground. Something opened, not dramatically. The most significant internal openings rarely announce themselves with drama, but genuinely a loosening of something that had been held tight for too long, a softening of the resistance that had been consuming so much of their energy and producing so little of what they actually wanted in return for the consumption. The resistance was not about you. I want to name that clearly because I think it is one of the most important things in this reading and one of the most easily misread. The holding back, the delay, the distance, the space between what they felt and what they showed was not evidence of uncertainty about you. It was evidence of uncertainty about themselves, about whether they were capable of being what someone like you deserves, about whether the feeling they carried was something they could honor adequately, could sustain, could bring into the full light of an actual relationship without it losing something essential in the translation from private feeling to shared reality. The doubt was never about you. It was always entirely about their own sense of readiness, their own sense of worthiness, their own quiet terror of arriving at something they genuinely wanted and finding themselves insufficient for it. And the friend, the advisor, the one who told the truth, addressed exactly that. In whatever words they used, in whatever form the conversation took, what was ultimately said was, something in the register of the waiting is not protecting you. It is only costing you. And what it is costing you is the very thing you are most afraid of, losing the possibility of something real with the person who already knows at some level exactly who you are. Because you do know. Some part of you has always known this person in the specific way that precedes full knowledge, the recognition that arrives before the biography, before the history, before the accumulated evidence of shared time, the bone level knowing of someone whose frequency you recognize without being able to explain why you recognize it. That knowing runs in both directions. It has always run in both directions. And the advice that was given, the mirror that was held up, the truth that was spoken into a moment that was finally ready to receive it may have been the thing that finally made the bi-directionality of it impossible to continue pretending was not there. Now something is moving with a quality of intention that is different from anything that moved before the conversation with the friend. More deliberate, more grounded, less the chaotic movement of feeling that has not yet found its direction, and more the purposeful movement of someone who has found their direction and is now, for the first time in this particular story, walking toward it without simultaneously looking for the exit. That quality, the absence of the simultaneous exit seeking, is significant. It is one of the most reliable markers of the difference between someone who wants something and someone who is ready for it. Wanting without readiness keeps one foot outside the door. Readiness walks through it. And what I feel in this person's energy right now, in the aftermath of the conversation that changed something, is the specific quality of someone who has decided to walk through the door, all the way through, without the insurance of a foot left outside. I want to speak to you now, to what this means for you, not in terms of what you should do or feel or decide. Those belong entirely to you and to the truth you carry about this person and this connection. But in terms of what you might allow yourself to receive as this movement toward you begins to become visible, there may be a part of you that greets this with a guardedness it has earned, that looks at the movement, at the changed quality of this person's intention, and holds it at a slight remove while it checks for the consistency that previous chapters may not have reliably provided. That is not cynicism. That is wisdom. And wisdom of this kind, the kind that was built through actual experience rather than theoretical caution, deserves to be honored rather than overridden in a rush of feeling that might later be recognized as premature. Let it show itself over time. Let the intention become action. Let the action become pattern. Let the pattern become the evidence that your wisdom requires before it is willing to stand down from its post and allow the full, unguarded, completely present version of you to step forward. That evidence may be closer than it feels, because something has genuinely changed in the machinery of this person's relationship to their own feelings, and changed things, produced changed behavior, and changed behavior sustained over time becomes the only form of proof that actually means anything. Soft sigh. In the symbolic landscape of this reading, what I see is two paths that have been running parallel, close enough that each has been aware of the other, close enough that the distance between them has always felt bridgeable, but parallel nonetheless, not yet converging, and a bridge being built, not by one person alone. Bridges require both banks. But the building has begun from their side with a seriousness of purpose and a quality of structural intention that was not present before the conversation, that changed something. What happens when it reaches your bank is yours to decide. Whether to meet it, whether to wait and see how it holds, whether to walk out to the midpoint and assess the construction from there before committing to the crossing. All of those are legitimate responses. All of them honor both the possibility of what is being offered and the wisdom of the person receiving the offer. None of them require you to decide before you know. And the permission to not yet know, to let this unfold at the pace of actual evidence rather than the pace of hope or fear, may be the most useful thing I can offer you tonight alongside everything else. You are the one. Someone who cares about this person looked at the full picture of what they carry for you and arrived at that conclusion with the conviction of someone who has seen enough of human connection to know it when it stands in front of them. That external confirmation arriving from someone whose perception is unclouded by the feeling itself carries a weight that the feeling alone cannot quite produce. It is the weight of being seen accurately by someone with no stake in the seeing other than the well-being of the person they love enough to tell the truth to. You are the one. And the person who needed to hear that from somewhere outside their own head has finally heard it. What they do with it, what direction they walk, how quickly, with how much courage and how much care is already beginning to reveal itself, and what you do with what they do, how you receive it, how you allow yourself to respond to it, what truth you bring from your own side of the parallel paths is the rest of the story. A story that may be finally preparing to become a shared one, not because fate decreed it without your participation, but because two people separately, through their own private processes, guided in this case by a friend honest enough to say the hard thing, have arrived at the same place at approximately the same time, and the same place at the same time with genuine feeling on both sides that is the specific and rare configuration from which something real can actually be built. Something real. Not the version that looks real from the outside while feeling hollow from the inside. not the version that runs on the momentum of wanting without the substance of actual knowing, but the kind that is built on honest ground, on two people who have each done their own work, faced their own fears, received the truth from whatever source offered it, and are now, eyes open, walking toward each other with the full awareness of what they are choosing and why. That kind of beginning is worth waiting for, worth the patience, the parallel paths required, worth the difficulty of the seasons that preceded this one. And it may be exactly what is forming slowly, deliberately, with the quality of care that only arrives when the casual approach has been replaced by the recognition that what is at stake is not casual at all. You are the one. They know it. Someone who loves them told them so. And the knowing, finally, fully, without the escape routes that uncertainty previously provided, is changing everything about how they move. Pay attention to the movement, not with the anxious, over monitoring attention of someone who is afraid of missing the signal. With the calm, clear, fully present attention of someone who knows their own worth well enough to let what is real reveal itself in its own time and to recognize it clearly when it does. It is revealing itself right now in the changed quality of something you may already be beginning to feel at the edges of your days, a shift in the atmosphere, a different quality in the air between you and this person, a sense of something that has been waiting, finally beginning with great care and great intention to move. If this found you tonight in a place that needed finding, if something here confirmed what some quiet part of you already knew, stay close, subscribe, and come back. Because the story of two people finally walking toward each other on honest ground is one worth witnessing all the way through. And the next reading will be there for every step of it.